Hello there. Welcome to the Dutchman's Wood Shack. Today, I'm going to be doing some stuff, and I wanted to show you. First off, today I'm going to start scratch from right now. I have a week that I can be functional, and after that, next a week from Monday, I go into the knife for my hip, and I won't be doing stuff for a while. So, here's what I'm going to talk about today. Pretty simple stuff. I want to show people the basic lathe. All right. It's not a jet. It's not a Powermatic. It's what they call a mini lathe. Now, it's actually, I believe it's Rycon that makes it. It's got a Craftsman name on it. This is a 2015 version, and it run back then and probably 450, 500. That's it. Now you can, if you're interested in lathes, the reason I'm bringing this up is because um, I want to show people what you could do, and it's a nice hobby. It's a good hobby. I like doing it. Ever since I started doing this, when I first got it, it's kind of addicting. You can make pins on it. You make bowls. You can make snowmen, cups, um, candle holders, all kinds of stuff. It can be really fun. You can think outside the box. You can really be creative. So down here in my shop, I call it Dutchmiteville, USA. Okay, so a couple of things I want to teach you about it when you're first looking at them. All right, you have to have a place to set it. If you have a garage, what I tell people is you can make yourself a really mini bench and put wheels on it to move it around. It'll fit if you make it. They do it just right. It'll fit up against the wall, on the side of a car somewhere, or in the back end of the garage where you can move it around. And it's not that big a deal. What you do is you have this much of a lathe, so you only have like 3, 4 feet long. I put an extension on it so I could do bigger things like legs. And my big thing is I like to make furniture. So, what you see here is what you get basically, not the dirt. No, it didn't come with dust, but it's a pretty simple tool to use. It is dangerous like anything else in the shop. All right, so this, you can think about this now. This is probably on average. You could buy one used, probably 250 to $500. They're all over the place. If you look in the wood, look online. You go to Farm and Fleet, not Farm and Fleet, but Harbor Freight, Woodcrafters, Rockler. But the best place to find stuff is in woodworking clubs. Now, I belong to a couple of them, and one's the Fox Valley Woodworking Club. They're always good at selling tools. People either passing on or not doing projects anymore. They're always good to get a good cheap lathe with. The other one is Windy City Turner, same thing. But wherever you are in the country or the world, look at trying to buy yourself a lathe that's cheap, and you don't have to get exotic about it. You don't have to go get a jet or a Powermatic. Just get something simple, right? Hey, Aaron, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Welcome to the Dutchman's Woodcheck. Thanks for chiming in. So, anyway, I'm here to try and get people started in lathe. I love it. It's great. The biggest problem have is I'm addicted to it. All right, I had to back off a little bit because I've got other hobbies I belong to. So if you look down there, there's a whole hobby in there. That's my Lionel train layout. So that's what I've been working. Sometimes in the wintertime, that's what I do. So anyway, but that's a whole other subject. I'll have to get into that later. I do have another channel, by the way, guys. It's called Jeff's Train World, HOO and Engage. So I'm on YouTube. You look that up. I need subscribers on that a lot too because that tells me it actually. I need to get more people involved in that so I can do a live on that too. So Anyway, this doesn't come with the tools. So just so you know, it's 500. Let's just say roughly 500 bucks. There's a plate that belongs in there. I don't know if you can see it. Up here is a plate that goes on here. It acts like your chuck, but that's nothing. You get a manual. Okay, your manual tells you what you need to know. Okay, so yeah, I built that out of a pallet. I had to keep everything in here is so you could get uh tools for about 70, 80 bucks. I did. So I've got 8 of these tools, gouging tools and finishing tools for about 80 bucks. Hey everybody, nice to meet you. Thanks, Dean, Adit. I don't know if I can. Thanks for showing up. Now, hey, welcome Mexico. Hey, I used to live in Southern California, so yeah, I'm an LA product of LA. I was born in Glendale, so there you go. I live in the Midwest now, much better place, but but it's colder. So if you want to live in the Alaska tundra, don't come here. Really prep for that, you know. Anyway, it's a pretty basic setup, and it's really good. But what I tell people when you're learning turning. First thing is just stick with the basics until you're comfortable with the standard tools that you have. There's different kinds of tools you can look online. I've done a lot of paperwork, and there's skew chisels and there's gouging chisels, and each one has its place for itself. Now, there's the regular tools who are all steel, and then there's the really fancy ones where you could go like I did, that are carbide tip. Now, this is a carbide tip one, and so is this. And forgive me, I know there's a lot of professional guys on here that watch me, but I haven't cleaned these in a while, so they're a little bit dirty. But see the difference between these tips and say these tips, is I can change these out. Here, I can't change these out. I have to spend time sharpening them, which can be a pain. If you don't have the tools to sharpen it, don't bother. You know, it'll cost you. I have a guy come sharpen them, or the guy will do 3 of my tools for like 11 to 12, 15 bucks. So, you know. And that's not a problem. You'll learn that. And that's what I'm saying. All this stuff, if I sound like I'm getting way up there in the cost, I am, but I'm not. You don't need to go out whole hog until after you learn the basics of how to use a lathe. All right. Now, if you haven't subscribed to me, by the way, go ahead and subscribe. But I'm going to be pushing another channel later I'll talk about. Okay, so as you work on this, now if you don't belong to a club, that's okay. All right. But you can find them online. YouTube's really helpful on stuff. The only difference is there's a lot of guys on there that use different tools than I do. Same type of tool, just a different make, or the way the skews are, a different version of how they use the skew tool. Different size, different thing. And that's just, it'll go through. You could buy thousands of tools out there, and you, yeah. You just, when you're a newbie, you don't want to go whole hog on tools. Just want to get the 2 places I go for lessons. One is my Turner's Club, which is great, which is the Windy City Turner, based out in Naperville, and the other one is Fox Valley Woodworker, based in Naperville, Illinois. And they're all really good. Most of the time, I'm sticking with Turner's Club though, because it has a lot of stuff I do that the other one doesn't do. They're always good clubs, woodworking clubs of any kind. Now, if you're a crafter, same thing. I watch a lot of my friends. They have my friend John. He has Wood If You Could, He's got a woodworking club or group on YouTube here on YouTube, but he's doing crocheting. So I think it's crocheting whips and chains or something like that. And it's really good if you like crocheting for women. That's another one good. There, and then some of them will do jewelry and resin work, and that's awesome too. Whatever your fancy is. I do. Um, I'll do a crafters day sometimes in the spring. Just about when the craft shows and art shows start up. I'll show you. I'll make different kinds of things. I do a how-to thing in my science lab. It turns into what Mythbusters used to be. I like doing that. I miss that show greatly. In that and home improvements, I like to talk about tools too. And to get your input also. What would you like for me to do? My biggest concern is I don't want to stand here and yap like I'm doing for 15, 20 minutes, not have you guys disappear on me because I'm a boring guy. I'm not boring. I got too much crap in my life to do, so I can't die yet. So, needless to say, I got to go on a little bit more. So now, a lot of those, there's the big chuck here with teeth. That's an add-on. There's a chuck over there that's like a drill press. You want to know how to do pens or anything else, use that on here. This comes off, and you put that. It's a drill press chuck. It works greatly. People ask me, how do you drill a hole straight in for doing pens? Well, you get that chuck there with smaller teeth. You put the chuck on here, and then you have another drill press chuck on here with a drill bit. And all you do is you set this up there, and you push this rod in slowly to the other one. That's how you draw it. Get it? So, because otherwise I'd be using this darn thing here. And most of the time I'm using this for sanding and buffing. I got to turn my air compressor on. It's a little dark in here. Sorry. Yeah, there's wood and all kinds of stuff in there too, so you can never have enough tools. That's my thing, is you can never have enough tools. Now, you want to get exotic, for instance. Thank you, buddy. I really I really appreciate that. So these are sanding tools here. All right. I swear by these. Now, I got two different kind here. Can never have enough. But there's a sanding here. If you're doing a bowl and you want to do the bowl like this, and you still have your bowl on a chuck, especially the ones that have curves in it, you can do this. Now, what it does is it kind of acts the opposite way of when you're turning, it's going counterclockwise. And there's always the rings, right? And a lot of times you don't get the rings out. This will help you get those rings out, especially if you've got a curved bowl. It works. I mean, you can only use these for so long and such a tight thing. That one there is the same way. I swear, you can never have enough sanding tools. You got to have a gazillion. It's the more weirder you make your project, the harder it is to sand. So. And then I have some saw or a knife for cutting the end off. You make it longer, you want to cut. That's some added thing. So now this is another one. That chuck up there, people wonder how you could do this, use this. But what happens is another one. When you get to a certain point in your project and you wanted a flat bottom, you take your either mortise and tenon out, you put that on this. This fits on that chuck. You take the teeth off of that. This is the other version of teeth. Then you can move the side around. And you put that on flat on this. Someday when I get to that point, I'll show you guys that. And that's how you end up finishing the bottom off. You want to make sure that's the last thing that you do too, because when you're finishing this, You don't need to necessarily something like this oddball. I really stick on there if it's round or something, because it's kind of an oddball thing, and you're going. I when I finish this for like if I'm using Mylan's friction polish, then it's the only time I use it on a lathe. But most of the time, I just, or you can do it on a buffer on a drill press too. But it gets kind of dangerous when it's offset like that. It's better just to do it and stuff it's round, cylindrical shape. This one here is my latest one. I like this. I think this is, I want to say this is Osage. I got this from my favorite woodworking shop, and that was Batavia Hardwoods. Um, I mean, they have a great selection of wood too, by the way. But um, I was wondering for the longest time what to do with this piece, and I think that's the appropriate way to do it. What do you think? I love this piece. I don't know. I make wood. If I want to sell it, fine. If somebody gives me the right price for it, maybe I'll sell it. I don't know. I like fooling around with it though. I mean, and you guys, if you guys enjoy watching me make a mess of things, I I'm good at making sawdust. So anyway, all these tools are extras. So if you want to make pens, yeah, you like my handles? I can still use those, by the way. I set that up like that on purpose. There's antique planes, hand planes up here. I got tools that are antique. They go back to the 1800s in here, and I do collect them. So I love doing that. Now, if you're a newbie and you don't know about this kind of stuff, I'm doing this on purpose because I want you guys to. I'm trying to promote woodworking. A lot of schools are not doing it anymore, and it's not just this. I posted the last thing I made that was a big one, or the second to the last thing. It was a table. What I did is I used recycled wood flooring for that, oak wood flooring. It turned out fantastic. The idea is you got to think outside the box. Don't make things that are, you make things that you want to make. Don't worry about what anybody else is going to say. I have a hang up with that. Um, I keep telling myself there's a roadblock that I can only make so much. I'm never good enough. A lot of the guys at my woodworking shop or club, they're way above me. But see, that's their style. I could do what they're doing, but I have this hang up with grain. Okay, so I'm a big grain guy. Everything I buy when I go to the store, it's on wood grain. Wood grain. If I go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, I buy stuff. The wood grain is a blasé. I could do the same thing, but I only do that when I'm building furniture. Really, I mean, if you're gonna paint it, I mean, and there's no grain in it, why am I gonna make a bowl in it? I mean, then the other thing is the creativity with stain. You could do stain, um, but I don't know. I mean, it's where you're at too. Now, a lot of people that watch me are from other countries: Holland, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, Australia. They had somebody from Tasmania, which is cool. Hawaii, yeah, it's great. It Florida, yeah. Florida's got some great stuff. But here's the thing, and I'm a big tree guy. My whole background is in tree anyway, is a tree species. I'm a tree hugger. You know, do yourself a favor. If you're going to do a wood project, go out and look at the trees. Know your trees before you buy the wood to build them. And like I said, you got to picture this if you're going to make a bowl. There's several different ways to make bowls. Most guys I know won't do a lot of segmenting. The segmenting you could do, it's great, find it dandy. I did it, but it's so time consuming. And honestly, the reason why you don't see too many doing it anymore is because it takes a lot of time, and the wood you're using is expensive, and nobody will buy $100 bill bowl. I mean, personally, I was selling them for 50, 60, 70 bucks. No, I didn't make any money off of it because honestly, after you put about 50 hours in it, You don't have any labor. It's all on wood. You get that $40 worth of labor and so or $40 worth of wood. So a lot of guys won't do it. Same thing with resin. I'm not going to sell stuff that's exotic unless a lot of it is show pieces. I want to make a good piece that goes into an art gallery somewhere and stays there for a while. So I have people that like my stuff that buy it. They're personal friends of mine, and they showcase it, and it's awesome. One of my favorite people that buys it that lives not too far from here, Mary Pat and Greg Giel. God's blessed them, and I got with them, and God's blessed me with them. I love them so much. They buy a lot of my stuff. I can't say enough about it. And if they're watching, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying your fun space, your happy place. But Gerald Vance is the guy that I go by when I want to. He's my mentor. If I'm doing stuff, him and I are good friends. I met this guy a long time ago, but it's interesting if you got somebody who wants to spend some time with you and correct your situations, and he does. I had the pleasure of being to his house last September, October, and I had a blast. I'm not there long enough. He teaches. He's in the Appalachian woods. They're different style, kind of. There's the Victorian style and the Appalachian style. That's museum piece stuff. That's awesome. So, but anyway, what do you guys do? I want to hear. What do you guys do for fun? What do you guys do for woodworking? Even if you carve, doing something small, let me know. I mean, I'll talk about it. I've got carving tools. I mean, you saw them, right? I've never used those. I got a whole brand new set of carving tools. Haven't used them. I know how to carve, but I haven't tried it's like scroll saw work. There's a scroll saw buried in here somewhere, and I haven't used that in years. So, anyway, enough blabbing around. I hope you guys enjoyed my little spiel about I hope you guys enjoyed my spiel ever watching about that. The next live I'll do will be a train shaft. Okay. In fact, I can't do live. I have to do a video. But here's my other project. Okay. You ready? You ready? I'll open it up first so you can see it. There you go. Okay, I have to bring you inside here first. Here you go. I love doing this too. They get the best of both worlds. And if anybody says it's not woodworking, that's lying. It is. This whole base took me a while to build. It's on top of plywood. It's actually what do you call this board? It's the board the wafer board you put down before you lay tile on a floor. It's great stuff. It's like what they call it, Luan. It's a fun project. You can add to it. This one's because it's N gauge. It's a little bit bigger. And I think my room was like 20 by 20 or something. I don't know. I can't remember. I have to measure it. But I've been working on this and stuff. The point right now is I'm trying to figure out my issues with my cars. I have issues with what they call my couplers. They don't want to stay coupled. And so now there's different kinds of couplers. They come the one cars come uncoupled. Yeah, but I can't find it. Oh, I got a coupler somewhere on here. Anyway, they come with the new cars come with a different kind of coupler, so I use that. But so I do try to make still shots. I'm putting lights in the houses. the firehouse. There's a fire lookout up there, and there's the castle. They have lights in it, but I had to figure out something got messed up. And yes, my trains do run. I'll show you here in a minute. Now, I have cars like these. That's the other thing. Okay, talk about engineering. Okay, so now you have to make something that the cars will fit into. Because that's the biggest number one issue is that they want to come off. If you don't have the tunnel holes big enough or, whatever. So, anyway. Now, there's a certain setting I set these at. And here's the thing when you're running stuff like this. You don't want to go too fast. So there's a lot involved in doing this. It isn't that up there is O gauge. If anybody do it, anybody from outside of the states that don't know about that, guess what? That's O gauge. That's Lionel. I have HO that's over here on the top too. But this N gauge here, there is a Z gauge which is smaller than N gauge, by the way. So there's a whole lot involved. Then I've got a turntable over here I got to work on. The idea behind that is a whole different stuff. For kids and adults both. See, I'm into that. I also have RC cars too. Okay, my wife will tell me this. Okay, she'll go, well, everybody that knows me, it's HDAD. I got too many things going on. I know I can't turn it off. And they're kind of right. So, gotta turn this off. But there's switches here. These switches control these push button switches control my switches up here. What I'm doing on my switchboard over here is I'm trying to hook up the lights, and I'm going to do two houses. The only idea that I was going to do, everything that's lit up in this corner was going to be on one switch. And the one switch, as you get, it turns on and off, except for the firehouse. I was going to get a red light in there, and they got a red light, but I changed my mind. This side down here is going to have a whole different set. I've got all this here I've got to do. I've got to build. I'm working on what they call a Ferris wheel. But see, over the voltmeter, that piece there it's an arcade. This what do you call it? A festival. It's a circus. I'm trying to get a circus. I'll have the Ferris wheel and the circus in the same spot, which is going to be over here. This is kind of the city. There'll be different buildings here. I have oil canisters. I got big tanks where you fill a refinery. There's a sawmill. I think those up there are HO. Get the two gas stations. I've got a bunch of other stuff I got to put together. Another firehouse will be down here. But it takes you time. The whole idea is to have fun. I'm a little frustrated at issues that I have on my track, but it'll all work out. And this is electric, so I'll be able to turn it. I just had to figure out how. Get in my roundhouse. And I'm finding out that I might have to move this up back here. I've had to modify some stuff, so anyway, I hope you guys enjoy my little tour here, And this is the other channel, Jeff's Train World. So go to Jeff's Train World. It's Jeff's Train World, HOO and Engage, and subscribe to it. I need 50 subscribers so I can do a live on it instead of talking on the Dutchman's Wood Shack about it. So, and thank you for watching me. One more thing, real quick. I gotta turn this off first. Switches are switches, boys. I have to thank my friend Pat, who actually worked for Union Pacific as an engineer. And yeah, he's the one that got me the sticker. It's actually off in the Union Pacific train. So he's given me a lot of stuff to look at, and it's great. I have a map of all the Western stuff. But okay, so gonna let everybody go. I got things to do too, so anyway, if you're interested in this stuff and you need more info, you know where to get me. Thanks again. I'm gonna let you guys go for now. I might be on later on tonight. I was gonna turn a piece of wood, but I thought I'd take a break on it for now and show you guys. But now remember, a phrase I always say: be creative today. No matter what you do, be creative. Think outside the box. No politics, all right, because that's not being creative. And when next time you go, remember trees. Okay, I'm going to do one editorial on trees. I'll just say this: we need to respect trees. Respect the tree out there. Next time you go by a big tree, a little tree, whatever tree, be a tree hugger. I'm a tree hugger. Because remember, whatever you make a project out of wood, where it came from. God bless. Have a great day. Always think outside the box and be creative. No matter what you're doing, creative. Thanks for watching the Dutchman's Wood Shack. And leave me questions and comments. All right, buddy. Thanks again, guys. God bless.